sets. It's a term that we use to mean only the film crew and special invited guests get to go inside. But if you take one of our VIP tours, you have the opportunity to become one of those invited guests. On VIP tours, we bring people inside one of the stages that we use for the film in one of our shows. Our newest show on NBC is Prime Suspect, starring Maria Bello. That films inside Soundstage 29 on the right. The same stage that was used for a lot of scenes of Fast 5, which just came out on DVD. And on the left side of the tram is Stage 27, which was recently used for Weeds, Showtime television show with Mary Louise Parker. Before they filmed Weeds inside Stage 27, it was used for a Muppet movie. It's called The Muppets. It's easy to remember. And that should be coming out in theaters next month. On the right side of the tram, Stage 41, this is one of several stages on our lot that ABC uses for Desperate Housewives. And if you watch that show, you know the ladies live on a street called Wisteria Lane, and that's not a real street. It's a set on our backlot. We're going to be driving right down that street later. If you're fans of Desperate Housewives, you are going to see all the houses from the show. If you're not fans of Desperate Housewives, you're going to see all the houses from the show because we're still driving down that street. And then the last two stages on the right are 43 and 44. These stages are used for Parenthood with Tracy Nelson. These are the shows we're filming off the lot today. But over the years, these same stages have been used for a lot of other classics, like on the monitors. These are all classic shows used to film here. Universal Studios is part of NBC Universal, one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. This media powerhouse not only consists of our movie studio, but also a lot of famous TV networks like NBC, Sci-Fi, Bravo, USA, Telemundo, the Golf Channel, CNBC, MSNBC, the Weather Channel, Oxygen, and Versus. Please note, I did not read those, I memorized all those. We're going to be passing by all these offices. On the left side of the tram, there's a giant Mr. Potato Head in front of the Hasbro production office. Hasbro's a toy company, but they also produce movies based on their toys, like the Transformers film. And right next to Hasbro is office 5195. Right next to the door, there's a circle with a profile of the master of terror and suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. The exact history is Alfred Hitchcock's office. And he was known for giving himself a cameo in almost every one of his movies. He just put himself in a very, very short scene. And this is what Hitchcock looks like in the films he directed for Universal. Officially in the back lot. This is the part of our studio where we have all the exterior sets for our outdoor scenes. They were filming a commercial here on our back lot yesterday, down this alleyway on the right side of the tram. So they're striking the set right now. They're taking it apart and putting away all the filming equipment. These are our city street sets, and one of the first sets that I want to point out from a specific movie is over here on the right side of the tram, right behind that white truck. There's a set that looks like an apartment complex. That is where Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston supposedly lived in Bruce Almighty. This part of our backlot was supposed to be Buffalo, New York. Take a look at the monitors. Blaze the dog! I'm in the shower! That's our backlot right there. Blaze that out, I Oh, you're done. This is a very famous part of our backlot. It was used as Hill Valley in the back of the future. You take a look across the lawn on the left side of the tram, the City Hall building was used as the clock tower in the film. It looks different right now than it did in the film. They changed the face of the City Hall building for 5 years, this part of our backlot was used on Ghost Whisperer with Jennifer Love Hewitt. So they changed the look from Back to the Future to this, what it looks like now for Ghost Whisperer. It was recently used in Desperate Housewives and Parenthood. You may have seen that City Hall building in a lot of movies and may not have even recognized it. It's most famous for Back to the Future, and this is what it looked like in 1985. But 2 years before that, 1983, Norman Bates was released from that same courthouse in Psycho 2. 1962, Gregory Peck defended his client there in To Kill a Mockingbird. 2003, a riot took place in front of it in Bruce Almighty, and if I pause the video right there, right in the center of the screen, there is the clock tower like it used to look. And it was the future, the year 2015 in Back to the Future Part 2. We never got hoverboards. 2015 is just 3 years away, and like 3 months. We never got flying skateboards. This part of our backlot is called New York Street, and this is the street where they're filming the commercial yesterday. My co-host, Jimmy Fallon, is no stranger to filming in New York. That's where he used to do Saturday Night Live. Now that's where he does Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. But he's going to tell you what it's like filming on our New York Street set.
This is actually my old neighborhood. What's that bugs over there? That old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey, buddy. Pass it on. Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, it's cool, guys. We're just, just walking here. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. You can make it here. You can make it anywhere. You can make it here on the Universal lot.
In fact, some of these New York City street sets were seen in movie theaters earlier this summer. This was supposed to be Brooklyn in the 1940s in Captain America, the first Avenger. There's a new Spider-Man film that's going to come out next summer called The Amazing Spider-Man. Stars Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, and the Spider-Man film takes place in New York, but a lot of those scenes were shot out on our New York City street sets. And the first Transformers was filmed out there. At the end of the movie, the robots are doing their final battle in the middle of the city, and they're blowing up all the buildings. They weren't blowing up real buildings in the city. That would have been kind of pricey, so they just blew up sections of our backlot. Universal is going to be bringing Transformers back to life here on the lot in the spring of 2012 with the opening of Transformers The Ride in 3D. And speaking of things in 3D, Academy Award-winning director Peter Jackson is going to tell us a little bit about the part of the backlot we're moving into right now.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up into adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skull Island. is King Kong. That is the world's largest ocean cannon. That cannon was designed by Peter Jackson. Nobody knows your friend. If you don't know them. Please hold on to these until the end of the tour. We collect them at the end of the line to recycle. We have another tram on the right side. This one looks like King Kong stepped on it. He was mad. That tram was just about to drive over the old bridge, and that bridge looks like it's going to fall apart at any minute, but it is a very sturdy bridge. It was built in 1974. That's how it looked in 1974. They designed it to look like it was going to fall apart, and we basically use it in our older television shows, like The $6 Million Man, The Bionic Woman, and Quantum Leap. And here's the bridge in an episode of Quantum Leap. Scott Bakula runs over the bridge. In this episode, he prevented a lady from jumping off the bridge by reaching out and saying, "Oh my God." I don't know what he said. I went off the script a little bit. Some of the cars on the left side of the tram have been used in the Fast and the Furious films, the Back to the Future films, TV shows like Knight Rider and NBC. They are called picture cars. These are the cars we use in our movies and TV shows. Some of them are as famous as the people that drove them. And although these are real cars, a picture car does not need to be a real car. It just needs to look real on film. I'm going to show you an example of that too. So we're coming up to a special effects stage, and we have two picture cars inside the stage. We're going to use them to demonstrate an effect called motion control. The stage is just to look like Tokyo, inspired by our third Fast and Furious film, Tokyo. The two picture cars inside the stage on the left are non-real cars. They're shells. They're made of fiberglass and plastic. They only with the help of motion control. Now we're going to give you a demonstration of that. Let's watch those cars.
We are on set. Let's see the bullet hits. And go. Smoke. Go. Fire. Go. Okay, we're clear for a full run through. All systems check. This one's for real, guys, so watch out. And action.
That is good special effects work, guys. Go ahead, take a bow. Show them what else you can do. That's why I have a window. Did not get wet by school that I was so glad that anybody did. Of course, not over. We're at a movie studio. It is possible for us to create weather effects anytime, anywhere. It rained a little bit earlier. Al Roker, what is your prediction for the weather today? You are a professional weatherman on the Today Show.
Hi everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry in 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street. And we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Starlight. That's the forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on.
Our heading line is called Old Mexico, and according to Al Roker, we have flash flood warning. Al Roker's a pretty good weatherman. He predicts a flash flood, and then it starts raining really hard. There's a problem with rain in this part of our backlot because we set it still on a hill. And during storms, we've been known to have floods. You may want to be careful against any pond on the left side of the ground. Watch the top of the hill. Keep the camera protected because unless you wander along, there's a flood coming right at us. With a big tank of water at the top of the hill. Doors at the bottom of the tank open up. All the water immediately dumps out of the tank and it naturally rolls downhill. The center is designed so the water goes exactly where we want it to go, curves around at the bottom, and now all that water is recycled. It'll get pumped back into the tank. Again, for the next one. Mexico has Mexico has the TV shows Arrested Development, House, and Community, and the films Three Amigos, Nacho Libre, Paramount's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And earlier this year, Old Mexico was supposed to be China in our big hit about the Easter Bunny called Paco. Very short trip to Mexico, as we've already crossed the border into Texas. These are our western sets, and we are going to be stopping right in the middle of these sets for about 10 to 15 seconds for some pictures. And while we stop in this area, I'm going to show you a good old-fashioned shootout that was done right here in the middle of the street.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. Nice folks in this tram don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal line.
I hear this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot a few of their westerns.
That's right. That's where I aim to shoot here.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
Now what say you mount up and get out of town while the getting good?
All right. Well, I'll see you again, Fallon.
Or you can count on it. Now get.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We just have to talk down there.
We started making movies here on the lot in 1915, and these are some of the oldest sets that are here at the studio. Some of them built over 95 years ago for silent westerns. A lot of famous cowboys have made movies out there. John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, Tex Ritter, Kirk Douglas, and Clint Eastwood. on the left side of the tram are from our Back to the Future films. They're placed on the corners of the street that led to the McFly house. And just a few months ago, we took you through King Kong, and in there we demonstrated how Peter Jackson and Red Digital used computer effects to create Skull Island. In the movie, Skull Island was also created with the help of miniatures. I'm going to show you a scene from King Kong that does not involve any computer effects. This is done with very small sets. That is a little boat. That's a real guy. That's a real guy. I'm pretty sure that's a real guy. That is a miniature set of Skull Island with a little boat crashed into it. That is also a miniature boat. That is Jack Black fascinated with a miniature boat. I showed you that clip because we're going to be driving right next to that miniature, right over here on the left side of the tram. It's a rain picture. It was raining earlier this morning, and there's a road that we need to take to get to that part of the backlot, but it's been flooded. We don't have any road to get over there. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. Please part the water. This is just like the Red Sea in the movie The Ten Commandments. Our water is parting. We're going to be able to drive right through to the other side. As we drive through our Red Sea, you're going to be able to get a great up-close and sea-level picture of the miniature sets that we're using King Kong. If you have any personal belongings on the floor of the tram and you don't want to get wet, just as a precaution, until we get through to the other side, please pick those items up. Water usually doesn't get on the floor, but we do give that warning just in case. And we're going to drive through. Where all these famous monsters walked around.
What is it now? The monster. He's in the woods. Get out the bloodhounds. Raise all the men you can. Lock them in indoors and wait for me. I'm ready! Your torches and go!
realistic numbers. All robotic. We're approaching Soundstage 50 up ahead, and this stage is not being used for filming today. And when you're not filming inside the stage, we give us permission to make the transfer to show you whatever set happens over the time. Now the set is dressed to look like a subway station, and we're going to be coming in on the loading platform for the subway train. You usually don't get to see what the inside of the soundstage looks like after they build a set, because they make it a closed set, so only the film crew gets to come inside. But, well, initially drive the train. This will be another one of our picture shots once we get all the cars inside the stage. Most of the sound stages on our lot, including this one, are built about 95% soundproof. So when they're shooting inside these stages, they don't have to worry about noise from outside and loading anything. Everybody remain seated. It's an earthquake! There's another shark right in the middle of the water. We have to close the beach. Hey! The beach is closed! There's a shark in the water! Swim to the boat! Swim over to the police boat before the shark... Never mind. The shark ate him. That's great. We're gonna blow up this pier. The pier separates us from the shark took the pier. Oh, the thermometer is on fire. I see the shark. It's right next to us. Run away, dear, run away, there's a shark in the area. Didn't you see what happened to the scuba diver? Run away! He's looking at us like, what the heck? What's going on over there? What are you guys looking at? Look at all the things we have on our backlot. Deer, shark, giant dinosaurs. Did you see my friend walking around somewhere? a shark that just attacked us. Works a lot better than the shark that was built for the movie Jaws. The shark that they built for the film was terrible. It never worked very well. It was always breaking down. It got very frustrating on the set. The shark is not working. The shark is not working.
The shark worked well enough for a while there and beautiful. So I really oversharked a lot.
3 weeks ago, the White House on the right side of the tram was seen in an episode of The Mentalist. That's the most recent thing that used this house, but it's actually been used on a lot of television shows. Murder, She Wrote, Quantum Leap, Ghost Whisperer, CSI, Parenthood, and Desperate Housewives. Desperate Housewives, get your cameras ready because we are making a left-hand turn onto Wisteria Lane. This is the street where the ladies live on the show. The second house on the left side of the tram where they're working is where Gabby lives. Played by Eva Victoria. Susan is played by Terry Hatcher. She lives in the yellow house on the left. On the right side of the tram there's a blue and white house with flowers going up the walkway. That's where Bree lives, played by Marcia Cross. And the greenhouse on the left is where Lynette lives, played by Felicity Huffman. And don't worry if you're trying to get a picture of one of the houses. Another one. It's a cul-de-sac. We're going to loop around. We're going to be driving down that street again. Just one last house that I want to point out from the show. It's the last house on the street on the right. The pink house is where Renee lives, played by Vanessa Williams. The same house where Edie used to live, played by Nicolette Sherry. So we're going to make this here. We're going to drive right back down that street again for some more pictures. And while we're driving the street one last time, I'm going to show you what this set looks like on the show. Every shot that you're going to see on the monitors is done with this portion of our backlot.
What the heck? Let's move that!
They were funny-looking people. They lived in a town called Whoville, seen in a movie called The Grinch, directed by Ron Howard. And we're going to drive right next to some of their funny-looking houses. It doesn't look as cheery now as it did in The Grinch, because now it's part of our backlot and all dressed up for our Halloween horror night. Oh, Karen, please explain the small children that The Grinch did not kill anybody and shove their body in a Trans Am, but there it is. That looks very uncomfortable. The Who's are gone. They abandoned their homes because they're afraid of somebody that lives up here. And it's not the Grinch, it's actually somebody much worse than the Grinch. They built Whoville, recognize the Bates Hotel and Psycho House, run by Norman Bates and his mother. This is a great picture right here.
We all go on a little mad sometimes.
You get clouds in the background, that adds to looking here. Psycho was directed by the master of terror and suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. We are going to drive right next to that famous house. One of the stars of Psycho is here today. Take a look up at the second story window. Mother in a rocking chair. And look at all this destruction behind the house. Norman didn't do this, and his mother didn't do this. Steven Spielberg had this set built for War of the Worlds. And we are going to stop the tram right in the middle of the set. Once we come to a complete stop, if you want to stand up to get some pictures, you can do that. Please wait until the tram stops before you stand up, as people are already standing up. And while we wait here for some pictures, I'm going to show you what this set looks like in the movie.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around indigenous that we put together. Sit down and talk about the war. Well, I thought, what if the films were done right in the studio? Because it's just something you don't see. You're doing good. You're doing good. That's all right. That's all right. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Sit down close. Robbie, get in.
Get in. And just in case you're wondering, yes, that is a real airplane on the left side of the tram. They bought an airplane and ripped it apart for the movie. And there's some trams on the left with ghost face figures from the Scream movies. Again, this is part of our Halloween horror nights. There's also a log cabin over here on the right side of the tram. In 1988, Dan Aykroyd and John Candy spent their vacation here in the great outdoors. That's our cabin right there. Last week we were driving right by this log cabin as they were filming CSI in front of it. Like Ted Danson just joined the cast of CSI this season, so he was out here as we were driving past. Right behind the log cabin is a big blue backdrop, and that can be used for shooting special effects. Most special effects are filmed in front of a blue screen or a green screen. And right in front of our special effects backdrop, there's a huge concrete pit. Almost every time they film something out in this part of our backlot, they fill in the pit with water. And if we're doing a scene and somebody's on a boat, we don't have to go to an ocean or a lake. We can conveniently shoot those scenes right out here on our backlot. It's a lot easier to do it here. Last October, this is where Disney shot a lot of scenes of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. So as they're filming the movie, we were driving trams by. Everyone on the tram could see them film Pirates of the Caribbean. But at the time, we were not allowed to say what the movie was. And we weren't allowed to say who was in the movie. We couldn't say anything about it because as they were filming it, they wanted it to be a secret. They're pirate ships, and people dressed as pirates, and they told us, don't tell anyone what that is, that's a secret. And we're like, really? There's pirate ships out there. We weren't allowed to say. We would have gotten in trouble. 4 months ago, Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston were filming a comedy here called Wanderlust. And this is another example of filming something on our backlot, but making it look like it's someplace else. There are some scenes in Wanderlust where they're supposed to be in the middle of the woods. Those sequences were shot right over here on the right side of the tram. There's a little clearing right beyond some of these trees, and they filmed all those sequences right here. Last season, they did about 3 episodes of Desperate Housewives in this part of our backlot too. There's one episode where Susan and Mike are having a little romantic anniversary in the middle of the woods, and it's interrupted by a Civil War reenactment. So they shot that scene right over here in the clearing. They did it right in front of Imhotep's tomb. Imhotep is an evil mummy that rose from the dead. It's a film with Brendan Fraser. We're going to be driving right through his tomb, which is believed to be cursed by a deadly, flesh-eating scarabee. Deadly, flesh-eating scarabee. the coffin on the right side of the tram. Driving very quietly, not want to disturb the deadly friendly What are you doing in the tomb? No, Whoopi, don't move. This is not good. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles. Right here on our stage. Oh, we got a way out. I was worried for a minute because one of the Beatles went right up my nose. We survived under some mummy's tomb. That is the last attraction that we're going to be seeing on the tram ride. We are coming up near the end of our tour. So one final time, I'm going to turn things over to Jimmy Bell.
I can't believe it. We made it to the end of our tour, you guys. How about Paul and Fred? Weren't they the best? And before we go, I'd like to sing a little song I made up when I was just 5 years old. It's called Tramtastic. We had a real good time together. Now the ride is done. We saw some crazy cool stuff, and we had a lot of fun. This tram has made its final stop. Don't be sad and blue, 'cause there's still one more thing that I'd like to say to you. Have a tramtastic day. Have a tramtastic night. Watch your step as you exit the tram, and everything will be alright. As we wrap up our tour of the world famous Universal Backlot, if you're looking for something else fun to do while you're in town, we're currently offering free tickets to a taping of The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. So if you're interested, be sure to visit the Hollywood Ticket Outlet across from the exit of Shrek to check for availability, and tickets are limited, so please stop by soon. If you have any questions about anything you've seen on the tour today, I will be standing right next to the tram. Please feel free to come up and ask if you have any questions, and make sure that you have all of your personal belongings with you. If you're not an annual pass holder and you'd like to become one, stop off at that same Hollywood Ticket Outlet, find out how you can